Are you looking for the ultimate 700 pp car in Gran Turismo 7? In this video, I break down the best options for dominating the track with a perfect 700 pp racing setup. Whether you're competing in online racing or tackling tough events, this guide will help you choose and tune the car that gives you the edge. Discover the top cars for performance, handling, and speed, along with tips on tuning to get the most out of your ride. Watch gameplay footage, see lap times, and learn the secrets to mastering the 700 pp category, even if you're a beginner, or either you're a beginner or you're on a track that you're a complete beginner on, which we're going to do today. So stay tuned. We're going to jump on the Dragon Trail. Haven't driven this layout in a little bit, so I'll show you how beginner trick can get you a first place and get you those credits. Now we're going to be showing you all about the right car, the right setup for finding the best 700 pp car in Gran Turismo 7, the ultimate setup. So let's go to Dragon Trail. This is in Europe. Now, later on, once you've completed all of these, you can go to Quick Race and you'll have an extra bonus. So you'll just do a quick few laps and you'll get, like right now, for example, we do a quick few laps. And instead of 7,100 credits for 3 laps, we're getting 25,600 credits. But to get more of a boost, we need to complete all of these. So right now we're going to be working on completing the 700 class. Let's see what is the best car and best racing setup. Now, of course, best car comes down to what you're comfortable with. If you're trying to do this quickly, you don't want to have to learn a whole new car. We're going to use a car we've used a bit, and you can see for the 800 pp class, we've tuned down the 962C88 down to 799 performance points, the Sauber Mercedes. So those are little tricks. Now for the 700 pp class, you could tune down a GT or a GR3 car, tune it down quite a bit. And what we're going to be looking at and using right now, because we basically already have it set up, is we could go with the GTR Nismo GT3. Very easy car to drive. You could also down tune instead of the Alfa Romeo 4C GR3 car. Instead of just buying the GR4, tune down the GR3. You're going to be happy. You won't regret it. And you'll also have it as a GR3 car. So skip buying the GR4, get the GR3, tune it down. Could tune down my Ferrari, which I'm very, very accustomed to driving, but I want a little racing excitement, a little offbeat action. So we're going to jump into the NSX GR3. And how did we set this up? Well, car settings, you throw on the racing hard tires, you hit down the output adjustment to 87%. We're going to leave that where it's at, and we don't have the fully customizable racing transmission. Otherwise, we would turn down the overall speed, because I have a feeling the top gear of this vehicle might be completely useless, and it would have been of greater utility to have the vehicle sprint through the first 4 gears much more quickly. It also give it a little quick acceleration action. Now, don't forget, if this was an endurance race, which is another way to make big bucks, bang for your dollar, make lots of credits, is do those endurance races, but always make sure endurance racing, you have purchased your wet tires and your intermediate tires. Now, weather will be consistent when you're doing the 10 laps, weather and the 15 lap rate challenges for the 700 and 800 performance point class. And we're a complete beginner on this track, but with some smart driving, we'll have no issues at all, or very few issues. So smart driving tip 1, go from the outside here to the inside. So when it's a straightaway and you see we're going to be doing a left turn, slowly switch over, get to the outside. You see a lot of these cars aren't placed so well. Complete outside to complete inside. And again, outside to inside, making some opportunities to pass. And, there I took off in second, which was the suggested gear. If your stability control's on 0 in a high performance vehicle, or if the back end is sliding out and giving you problems, try starting in the gear. Go in the correct gear into the corner, but take power out of the turn, in a higher gear. So here they're saying first gear. So I'll go in out in first, But then apex, upshift, and power out in second gear to avoid slippage. Now it's at the very mid-range, low end of first gear, so there's no chance of slippage, so it's okay there if I'm in first. So let's go through those a few more beginner tips and perfect the ones we just discussed. So here, going from the outside, there is all sorts, there's a wall of cars, so I couldn't do it. So here, second, no chance of slippage. Even if I throttle all the way down, which generally as a beginner, you're gonna be full throttle or no throttle, and as you improve in skill, you'll get used to just giving partial throttle like I'm doing here. This is about half throttle. Then once I'm safe and the steering wheel's almost straight, or the steering wheel isn't turned by more than 10%, then you can throttle down with no fear of slippage, of the back sliding out. So here I need to be in first going in, beginning of the candy cane, start the braking, going on first, very light throttle if I'm gonna stay in first, and throttle as you come out of the turn. Did that a little slower because my brain was set to explanation as opposed to focusing on the track. But here again, outside, get into the correct gear, and because I wasn't at the very top of third, I was safe to throttle, give full throttle. Also not at the bottom of second, so no problem throttling down there. Top of second, we could have had some spinach. Not the food, but I mean wheel spinning. I call it spinach. So here they're saying second, get down to the top of second. So because I'm at the top of second, no longer top of second, so I'm good to throttle out in first. Now the NSX, you'll need to find out your car's power point. The NSX loves to be revved high. Still makes lots of, it's still accelerating well into the high RPM. Other cars you need to shift earlier, and you can see that where their power band is when you're tuning the tuning up or tuning down the vehicle, like where we started this video at. Now another little trick, follow cars, let them break the wind for you. Don't worry, it won't be a smelly experience. It'll be a flyby past experience. Let them break the wind. And if this car would have been a little slower, we would have followed behind that vehicle, that Lexus, the whole way down the straight. Now we're breaking the wind. Now here, just a little bit of gas, then let go, get ready for the next apex, then gas out. So this is easy credits. We've got a high, like here we could have taken a GR4 car. No down tuning needed, but by taking a higher car and downgrading it, you end up with better handling, better brakes, more downforce often, especially with the GR1 cars, like that Porsche 962C, downgraded to an 800 performance point, or kind of like that general GR3 or GT3 car range. Such better brakes, such better handling. So here we're setting up for the outside. Now if these tips, maybe you know them all, and it's just a matter of practicing and perfecting them, but if these tips make sense to you, or if you find these videos entertaining, please help this small family business out. Give a thumbs up, subscribe, turn bell notifications on, and drop a comment. Share some of your tips. Give me some feedback. What do you think? Do you prefer these videos where it's all about tips and tricks and making money and finding the perfect car to make the most money quickly? Or do you prefer to watch online races where there's intense battles? Here I can't really say the battles are intense, because from the off start, I know if I don't spin out, if I play smart and go in slow and come out fast of each corner, we know we're getting to first place. But do you prefer this form of video? Drop a comment. Or do you prefer the online content with epic battles where it is very, very difficult to get a pole position? Let me know in the comments. It'd be really appreciated. Oh, very close there. Little brake, back on the gas, power through. Oh, this is a fun one. So Doing this as a beginner, I'm just taking each corner sort of blindly, you could say. So here, second, I just need to follow the little gear coach on the bottom. Second gear, okay. How about I do it in third? Because that way I'm already in the right gear to take off. Going on first. Very light on the throttle here. That could have been, in certain vehicles, a chance to spin out. Top of first with the rear wheels on, the candy canes. The Huracan, Lamborghini Huracan, for example, likes to spin out in that situation. The Porsche 911. Oh, and he hit me hard. He did not want to modify his drive line, sorry. He did not want to give me an inch of track. Try to get straight, get as far into the corner as possible. So you want to cover, each corner you want to cover the least amount of asphalt. So you go from the extreme outside to the extreme inside. This way you can keep a consistent speed, travel less track, and get back on the throttle so much earlier than if you went in really quick, brake the last minute, have a bad driving line, then you're on the gas, the throttle, much later. And I remember for Americans, I'm sorry, I say gas sometimes, like gas pedal, and for you gas is flatulence, I guess. While here in Canada, we call petrol gas, fuel is gas. Just slang, I guess. I guess it's not quite proper English. It's fuel or petrol. So we should call it the throttle. Let me know what you call the throttle in your area, getting on throttle. Let's get on throttle shortly. We have to kind of coast through here, then on throttle. What is this? A beefed up Mazda? Oh, look at that. Mazda 3 beefed up. Kind of, I'm going to admit, judge me. I'm going to say something maybe very unpopular here, but I really like the Mazda 3. Not as a front wheel drive configuration, but as an all-wheel drive configuration. The Mazda 3 is a good looking car and the interior is great. And it's very reliable. It's a great car. Fantastic car. And there's, you know, I don't know if there's room for a rear-facing baby seat, but a front-facing baby seat. 4 friends in the back. Cut through here, a little more braking. Oh, no more braking needed, just a little, try to go through at the right speed, so sometimes it's an adjustment of a little bit of braking or a little bit of acceleration. Fly down the corner here. Now, if I wanted to do this without pitting, it probably would have been possible. I would have needed to be on, I'm already on the racing hard, so that was a good choice, but no pit, I would have had to go in and made this car slower. And how do you do that? Well, you go down on the D-pad, you turn, instead of having the course map on, you go down to fuel here and you put the ratio down to lean, so 6 instead of 1, and your fuel will last you a lot longer. But I also don't feel like maybe discovering, like I said, I'm a beginner on this track, and as we can see, smart, safe racing can make it so that you don't know a track, but you still, let's assume we're gonna finish first here. Let's have a little faith, people. When you don't know the track, have that on. When you know the track, have the radar on and watch out for other cars, especially online. Over rev the vehicle there, because my controller, my steering wheel here, if you watch online, we've got a Thrustmaster GT2, but the steering wheel is not set up for that D-pad action. It's set up to see what's on the left and right or behind the vehicle. So we're gonna have to pit, so we're gonna have to watch the map here. I don't know where the pits are, but generally you're coming in, yeah, there we go. You're coming in for your lap, the pits will be at the very start. Now we really don't need tires, but hey, we're in here and I'm not worried about what an extra, let's see how many seconds. Let me know in the comments if you already know, but I'm thinking, maybe 5 to 8 seconds to do the tires? 4? 4 seconds. I'll take the 4 seconds and have those fresh tires on. Let's fill her up. I want to be able to race hard, stress-free. Now, if we're going in 8th position, yeah, I would have calculated out how much fuel I actually need to finish up. Maybe driven out on a 3/4 tank, not change the tires, and save a total of 6 seconds. But I like being a little further back because now we got some epic car racing. I love blowing the doors off the competition here. Pedal to the metal and blowing their doors off. Now here, I'm not going to rush in on the wrong angle and then cut right through and end up in the sand or the grass. So I'm gonna be a bit of a stalker here. I'm gonna be a predator on the competition. I'm ready to pounce. I'm lining up, waiting for the right time to make my attack. It's coming up. Hey, oh, is that a Ferrari up there? Oh gosh, I love the 458 Italia, but I think I'm wrong. My eyes are, I don't have my glasses on. It's probably an NSX. Yeah, okay, it's the black Honda NSX. And why do all these vehicles have what appear to be a Fast and the Furious silly wing? It's not because their hats are backwards and they're all in the big wings and baggy pants. I'll tell you why. It's for downforce. Woo! Don't know this track. That was a surprise one. It's for downforce. So when you add it on your Honda Civic and you're just driving down the street, it's not needed. It's a style thing. But if you're actually taking your car to the track, it's a speed thing. It'll give you more downforce, meaning better stability at high speeds, capable of getting more G's on the car. Whoa! So that in a 911, one of my favorite cars, would have been a spin out, I believe. Lamborghini Huracan, great sounding engine, probably a spin out. This NSX and the McLaren, as well as the BRZ, Subaru BRZ and the Nissan GTR are great cars for getting a little mud on them tires, dirt on the tires. Waiting to pounce, beautiful Supra. Mind you, I prefer my Shelby GT350. And if you want to see that Shelby GT350, head over to our sister brother channel, Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, where we have a 2024 Ford F-150 Tremor that we're long-term testing, 2017 Shelby GT350 with that 5.2 liter Voodoo engine and a flat plane crank, which is also the type of engine setup that you find in a Ferrari 458 Italia, and a 2004 Maserati 4000. You want an impressive engine for not too much money, get a Maserati 4000 and make sure you have money for repairs and maintenance. I really enjoy this track. And we also have a Toyota MR2, 1991 Toyota MR2 with the newest gen engine possible in it. We've owned one of those with a V6 engine swap in the past. I've had over 80 vehicles, not at once. We usually on the channel have 4 to 6 vehicles at once, but we've owned about 80 some vehicles. So check that channel out, and if you're finding this video or series of videos helpful or entertaining in any way, and you want to support a small family business, hit that thumbs up and drop a comment. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. You'll really be helping us out. It'll be really, really appreciated. And just the fact that you're watching is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So I want to get back to the NSX and the McLaren. You get these GR3 cars, you tune them down into the 700 PP class, and their handling is so great that you can take on tracks you really don't know. There's an example of not knowing the track. That was a surprise. No memory that corner was coming up. So I need to get back to not just talking, but also watching the gear selection. So I'm in 4th right now 5th, and it's saying next corner is at 2. at the 100. For a 2, generally at the 100, I start braking. For a 1, I'll generally start braking at 150. That's like a kind of general rule of thumb. So if the gear suggestion is first gear, I start braking at the 150. As a general rule. Sometimes 200 is needed, sometimes the 300 marker is needed. The general rule, 150 is going to be about your right place between 200 and 150. For when it says a recommended 1. So let's try that out. 150, full braking, using engine braking as well. And it was just a little early. So I could do it just after 150, and then once, as you memorize the course, you'll memorize when to start braking, what line to take. Now, because I don't know the course, there's no shame in it. Hey, I'm posting these online. People can laugh all they want, but it's a beginner tip. Drop the racing line in. And if you're still having way too much trouble, let's say you're really beginning the game, have the markers on under the assist menu setting. I'll show you at the end of this how to find that, and even throw on the brake zone indicator where they'll tell you where to start braking. So stuff like that doesn't happen. So here at the 100, getting down into first, getting to the apex, power out. Now I need to rev out this NSX more because it benefits from being revved out in regards to proper best acceleration, you could say. Second, saw that I was going a little too fast, a little extra braking. So as I get to know the track a little bit better, you can see that taking the bendies a little better. So the more you exploit the maximum out to maximum in and then back to maximum out, the faster you get. And to do that, you have to have the right drive line. And to have the right drive line, to be able to take it, it's not just about knowing what the right drive line is, you have to be at the right speed. So easy money there. Fun, beautiful race in Gran Turismo 7, and all online simulation racing games are going to be a ton of fun with a few, just a handful of tips, and you just got to use it. So let me know in the comment section, do you prefer these guides and walkthroughs? Or do you prefer just the online intense epic battles? Are you happy with a mix? Please drop a comment and let me know what your favorite or best race car for Gran Turismo 7 is. So we got a top lap now. A much better time would have been in the high 130s. We're at a 143.1, but that's without really very much experience at all on the track, or at least we can say no memory of the track. So, you know, maybe I've driven this a while ago, but I certainly don't remember it. Now, hold on, we're almost done. I just want to show, if you're a complete beginner, something else other than watching these videos at JCCR Racing, something else that's really going to help. First of all, it helps if you love the car. If you love the car, you're going to be patient with the car, and you're going to learn its strengths and weaknesses, its pros and cons, you could say, versus your strengths and weaknesses. And the learning curve, which always starts off as very frustrating, all the way to once the learning curve, when your learning process is done, you put in the right strategies and actions, which I cover here on the channel, it goes from very frustrating to unbelievably satisfying, relaxing, and enjoyable. So pick a car you love, because if you love it, you'll deal with that really rough, frustrating start. And I really love the Ferrari Italia, but the NSX is so much easier to drive. The McLaren is so much easier to drive. The Dodge Viper is even easier to drive. The Ferrari 458, the Porsche 911, and the Lamborghinis, are childhood poster vehicles, are hard to drive. The Shelby Mustang, very, very, very difficult to drive. So if you want a little less work, stick with BRZ from Subaru, a Nissan GTR, or a McLaren, or the Honda NSX. And the McLaren, it's the 650S. You'll see it when you go to buy it. So where do you go if you want to make life a little easier? Well, we're going to have to tackle this because this third position is embarrassing. And this is a PP700 for turbo, so let's see what we'd be looking at for car settings if you want to make it easier. It's not car settings. You're going to have to go into the race here. We're already set up for a 700. The NSX has a turbo, so it's allowed in. But you're going to go to settings, these general settings right here. And you're going to go to assist settings. And your traction control, throw it up to 5 if you're spinning out a lot. What this does is when you're coming out of a corner and you go full throttle in, because you're not used to feathering the pedal or slowly getting into it as you come out of a bend, a turn, it's going to keep the rear wheels from spinning. Yes, theoretically, when you're a pro player, absolutely, it makes you slower to have traction control on 5. But as a beginner, not spinning out and crashing is the key, because that wastes the most amount of time. Now we're slowly working our way down to 0, but for now we'll run at 2. The NSX and the McLaren are quite controllable. I could already drive them at 0, but I can't drive my beloved Ferrari 458 Italia at 0, so I leave it there. ABS, you can put it on default weak, or once you're unbelievably good, throw it on off. Auto drive, well, I'd say never start with that. You gotta, that's turning back the clock too much. So driving line. Under driving line assistance, you can have driving markers on or all. I just want the line because I'm often doing tracks that I have no memory of. Brake indicator, I love that. That's that little flashing brake at you. And actually by now, I've actually completely don't see it anymore. So I might as well turn that off. Actually, but you can turn it on if you're a beginner. There's no shame in it. Braking area, that is unbelievably helpful. So it's hard at first to figure out, when do I start braking for a turn? Well, throw it on a new track. There's no shame in that. Look, I go online, I post these videos, and I understand that everything in life isn't about going in and saying, having so much ego that you figure, I can do this, I'm so good. No, when you're starting off at something, you're so bad. And even when you think you've gotten really good at it, there's people somewhere in the world who are so much better that you're still really bad at it. So no shame in it. Put the ego aside. It's all about putting in the right practices, actions, and figuring out the right strategies. So there's no shame in throwing on the training wheels here. Go to braking area, turn it on. Before the turn, it's going to show you exactly where you need to start braking. And one big key thing though is from the start, do learn to drive manual, because at one point or another, to be fast, you're going to have to be able to drive manual to use engine braking. That's when you downshift so that you have the brakes that come off the discs and calipers in the wheels, as well as the engine and transmission slowing you down. Now, active stability management, you can switch. You can see at the bottom a little detail. Switch ASM, active stability management, on or off, which helps prevent your car from spinning. Now, if you're a pro, you're gonna have that off. If you're not a pro, you're gonna have that on. So those are your assistants that you can throw on so that this game is very enjoyable and not nearly as frustrating as a beginner. And as you increase in skill, challenge yourself, turn more and more assists off. Now, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will drop a comment. And in the meantime, I wish you all more cars and more power. And I hope you do get to put the pedal to the metal on a car that you love sometime real soon. Take care, folks. See you in the next live.